Welcome to July the 6th. I'll start from 2017, work back to 2014, and take it from there. Some things should not happen, but they do. A friend of mine said that it was important to get all of Bill Shorten's shortcomings out there so that we could support conservatives. Bill Shorten is the leader of the Australian Labor Party. In the 2016 election, Shorten's plan was to spend over $130 billion more in election promises without expanding the debt by taxing $130 billion more. Shorten did not win, but he came close to winning. Think about what it means that Shorten promised to tax $130 billion more and give the money to slush fund mates. Shorten had not been campaigning to win, but to reconnect with the Australian Labor Party heartland, lost over many betrayals when ALP were in office. But the Conservative voters do not notice that. They expect it. Conservative voters are very upset with Liberal leadership, and they want to see it addressed. By throwing mud, Conservatives are not only going to disgust their constituents. The Liberals have been effective in government, and they should be better too. The economy is not healthy, but it is stable. Currently, the most effective spokesperson for the government is not even on the front bench, former Prime Minister Tony Abbott. Abbott has been unselfishly supporting his party, while his bitter successor as Prime Minister has imploded. The problem for the Liberals is that in touting their success, one cannot point to their leader, Malcolm Turnbull, or his supporters, Pyne and Bishop. It used to be said that one does not fight the devil but resists the devil and holds fast to the Lord, because in fighting the devil one can end up looking ridiculous and dancing to the devil's tune. But the devil has no actual power over you because of the Lord. Hold fast to the Lord and he will fight the devil. But in analogous terms, there is no comfort to conservatives in Australia. Resist Bill Shorten, but hold fast to bickering and disagreement, hate and spite, all coming from the leader, Malcolm Turnbull, and his hand-picked team. In 371 BC, the Battle of Leuctra, where Epaminondas defeated Cleombrotus I, took place. Epaminondas had about a third fewer troops than Spartans. He seemed to have accidentally developed a successful tactic that interrupted a Spartan maneuver. The result greatly impressed Philip and later Alexander of Macedon. 640, the Battle of Heliopolis, the Muslim Arab army under Amr ibn al-As defeated the Byzantine forces near Heliopolis, Egypt. The result was Egypt and North Africa are now Muslim. 1198, Richard I, the Lionheart, acceded to the English throne. 1348, Pope Clement VI issued a papal bull protecting the Jews accused of having caused the Black Death. Popular opinion blamed the Jews for the plague, and pogroms erupted throughout Europe. Clement issued two papal bulls in 1348. The latter named Quam Vis Perfidium, which condemned the violence and said those who blamed the plague on the Jews had been seduced by that liar, the devil. He went on to emphasize that it cannot be true that Jews, by such a heinous crime, are the cause or occasion of the plague, because through many parts of the world the same plague, by the hidden judgment of God, has afflicted and afflicts the Jews themselves and many other races who have never lived alongside them. He urged clergy to take action to protect Jews as he had done. In 1411, Ming's China, Admiral Zheng, he returned to Nanjing after the third treasure voyage and presented the Sinhalese king, captured during the Ming-Kota War, to the Yongle Emperor. In 1415, Jan Hus was condemned as a heretic and then burned at the stake. In 1535, Sir Thomas More was executed for treason against King Henry VIII of England. 1557, King Philip II of Spain, consort of Queen Mary I of England, set out from Dover to war with France, which eventually resulted in the loss of the city of Calais, the last English possession of the continent, and Mary had never seen her husband again. In 1885, Louis Pasteur successfully tested his vaccine vaccine against rabies on Joseph Meister, a boy who was bitten by a rabid dog. In 1892, 3,800 striking steelworkers engaged in a day-long battle with Pinkerton agents during the Homestead strike, leaving tens dead and dozens wounded. In 1917, World War I, Arabian troops led by T.E. Lawrence of Arabia, and Ora Ibu Tei captured Aqaba from the Ottoman Empire during the Arab Revolt. In 1919, the British dirigible R-34 landed in New York, completing the first crossing of the Atlantic Ocean by an airship. In 1933, the first Major League Baseball All-Star game was played in Chicago's Comiskey Park. The American League defeated the National League 4-2. 1939, Holocaust, the last remaining Jewish enterprises in Germany were closed. In 1941, Nazi Germany launched its offensive to encircle several Soviet armies near Smolensk. In 1942, Anne Frank and her family went into hiding in the secret annex above her father's office in Amsterdam warehouse. 1944, Jackie Robinson refused to move to the back of a bus, leading to a court-martial. In 1957, Althea Gibson won the Wimbledon Championship, becoming the first black athlete to do so. Also 1957, John Lennon and Paul McCartney met for the first time as teenagers at Woolton Fete, 3 years before forming the Beatles. In 1995, the Bosnian War, under the command of General Ratko Mladic, Serbia began its attack on the Bosnian town of Srebrenica and killed more than 8,000 Bosniaks in what the then UN Secretary General Boutros Boutros-Ghali called the worst crime on European soil since the Second World War. 1999, U.S. Army Private Barry Winchell died from baseball bat-inflicted injuries in his sleep the previous day by fellow soldier Calvin Glover for his relationship with a transgender showgirl and former Navy corpsman Calpurnia Adams.